Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Stroke. I am your host, stroke survivor Jerry Wald. And just to let you know, I started this show not only to spread awareness about stroke, TBI, aphasia, AVM, etc., but also to provide a platform for stroke survivors and other survivors to share their journeys. Not only ins- to inspire them as well, but I'm so thrilled to have on the show this morning Kati van Hoeven and her husband Henning from Finland, and they will be sharing their inspiring and amazing journey. But please share this, as there are so many people around the world that are going through some difficult times, and this will lift them up and lift their spirit. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Hopefully I'm not frozen. But anyway, why don't we just bring on Kati and Henning. Good morning. Oh, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to us, but good morning to you guys. I see a lot of people saying good morning there. So aloha, good morning,
Yes.
good day, good evening, good night, everywhere in the world.
Yes, and just to let everybody know, which I forgot, is you both are in Finland.
Yes, we're in Finland right now. It's 6 o'clock here, 6 p.m. here in Finland right now.
Wow, that's great. Good to hear. And as I told you this morning, this evening, a few minutes ago, that I watched your video of your wedding on YouTube. I'm a mess anyway, but it was beautiful. You guys did a fabulous job. It'd be great to talk about that a little later, but it's terrific. And you obviously can see the comments there.
Yes, I can see the comments.
Yeah, good to hear. And I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much for supporting the show, and for Kati and Henning. Thank you so much. Yeah, nice to see you all here. And anyway, I'm so glad that you're able to join us here. It really means a lot. And so, a lot of people don't know. Well, there is probably a lot of people that do. They don't know what locked-in syndrome is. I mean, I have the definition. I know what it is, but you've been around it for quite some time. So, do you mind explaining exactly what that is?
Yeah, sure, Terry. First of all, thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah. My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you for everybody tuning in, and a lot of you are saying hello, hello, hello. So hello to everybody else out there.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. All. Hi, all. Kati says hi to everybody.
Terrific. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you there. And I appreciate it again. And thank you all for being here from all over the world. I see that Yvonne from Athens, Greece. I've got a ton of people from all over the United States. But yes, if you don't mind, maybe you could explain what that is.
I will start a little bit before that and explain the stroke first, and then I explain the locked-in syndrome.
Perfect. Love to hear it.
Kati had a stroke when she was 20 years old. Kati was a supermodel by then, and that was in 1995. And that moment and that time, doctors thought, or people in general thought, that only older people can get strokes. 40-plussers can get strokes. Younger people cannot get strokes. Now we know that even children can get strokes.
Absolutely.
But by then they didn't believe that. And they think as a model, so probably something else was going on, and they didn't give her the right treatments. And by the time they found out that there was a stroke, it was too late to do anything for Kati, and Kati was already completely paralyzed with a syndrome called locked-in syndrome.
Right.
What is locked-in syndrome? The locked-in syndrome is when Kati's upper brain works perfectly, but Kati's lower brain, the brainstem, is so severely damaged by the stroke, by the clot, that it's kind of like a gray area, and the messages from Kati's brain don't go through to her body, to her muscles to make them move.
Right.
So Kati in her brain. She's a little bit crazy, but that doesn't have anything to do with the stroke.
Yeah, but the intellect
She was like that before, and I think she'll be like that for always.
Oh
But
my
her
God.
brain works perfectly. In principle, her muscles also work perfectly. Her spine as well, so her muscles work perfectly, but the messages don't go through, so she doesn't have control over her muscles. Now, Kati, your tongue, everybody's tongue, the human tongue is also a muscle, and Kati cannot use that muscle neither, so Kati cannot speak neither, and Kati speaks with her eyes, and that's how she just said hi to everybody before. I'll give a quick explanation about that and show you how that works. This is a letterboard, and the principle of speaking with the eyes is that the person speaking with Kati would keep this letterboard between Kati and themselves, and Kati would look at the letter, and this person would say it out loud, making the words and then the sentences and so on, spelling out what Kati says. But of course, with time, you learn the position of the letters by heart, but we don't actually use the board. Kati just looks in the one corner or the other, and I guess the letter and make the sentences and so on, and that's how we speak.
Wow.
Now, there are messages, before anybody asks something about technology, there are technology out there, machines that can use your synthesizer or just computers, on computer systems that you can use. Yes,
That's incredible. You don't use a synthesizer.
no, Kati does. She does have it, and she does use it sometimes in presentations,
Ah,
but at home we don't use it. And it's basically our dynamic of how we are, who we are, and this way of speaking with the eyes is better for us personally.
right. It works for you guys.
For the technology and for eye gaze, which is using computer with the eyes.
Right.
That is even ambassador of Special Effect UK, which is a company that makes video games that people cannot move their hands, can play games using their eyes.
Yeah.
And she does play the game sometimes and so on, but for communication, we don't, in our daily life, we don't use the machines for communication.
Wow.
We just use the
Well,
alphabet, how they call it.
right. And there's one thing is I told you that we're streaming on multiple platforms, but I also streamed. This show is actually streamed on Twitch,
Okay.
which is a gaming site.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we noticed there's a lot of people that have had strokes on there, which I didn't
Yes.
know. But now Twitch is very popular, and you're talking about gaming.
Yes.
So
So
perhaps,
for people that out there that cannot move their hands and want to play game with eye gaze and those, they can check out Special Effect UK.
right.
I D B E A I B E D G C A M became A B D. And they take, yeah, Scotty didn't like to play games before, but since she became the ambassador and trying out the games, checking for bugs in the games,
Right.
Special Effects, she became a little bit addicted to games, video games right now, and she
Wow.
started playing video games.
Wow. That's absolutely incredible. That's
Yes.
something you got to be proud of. How to get through. How long did it take to learn all this?
How long did it take? It doesn't take so much. You have to consider that Kati had a stroke in 1995, so it's what's 25 years ago, and she started using computer in the rehab like a couple of months later.
Right.
Yes, yeah, the old systems though, and not with the eyes by then, and she still doesn't use always with the eyes. IWVUS used B D G C H I N sin C I H I chin. She also used a certain moment mouse on her chin
Wow.
to control the computer, and nowadays they put the mouse on her forehead. We put it on her forehead, and how she uses to move the computer with infrared cameras.
Wow, that's just remarkable. And how did you meet?
Kati, it's a long story in the rehab because after the stroke, immediately after the stroke, Kati couldn't even move her eyes. And later on, she started moving her eyes. And then they decided, okay, we do the spelling board and this ones. But in the rehab, they noticed that Kati had a little bit movement in her jaw, and they give her treatment for that. Practicing, and then with a toothbrush, was it? Massaging the muscles with a toothbrush, and then practicing eating. Yeah, I, D, B, G, C, A, E, with ice. Yes, also with ice, massaging it with ice. So she got a little bit of movements in the jaw, so she can eat kind of normal. Just the food has to be a little bit soft, but she
Right.
doesn't have to eat through a tube. She can actually eat, and Kati loves eating. So yeah, so that was a blessing for her.
Oh, I can only imagine. I'm proud of you. And so the communication is pretty darn. You've been doing this for quite some time, like 25 years.
Yes,
Wow. And you're currently still. I mean, because absolutely, Henning, you're a lucky man.
yes, I am.
She is very beautiful and still a supermodel.
Yes, still. She
Wow.
still swallows from time to time. So yes, and she's just inspiring in so many ways.
Right, right. Oh, I'm so thankful that you agreed to be on the show here. And I appreciate that. So how do you like, because I know this is a big part of stroke and um, how do you push through those hard days? I mean, do you have those hard days? We all do as stroke survivors. And you too, Henning. I'm sure you have those days too.
How I think we push each other through. Like it's we both positive people, but like you say, we always have those days or things that happen that put you a little bit down.
Sure.
But the thing is about us that the one lifts the other up every time we have those moments that even if both of us is down, the one picks it up and then pushes the other forward and pushes the other up, and we keep going forward. And it's a great part of its communication. Even bad things, we let it all out. Kati spells it out loud. I say it all out, but we let it all out. We don't keep emotions bottled in. We let it all out, and that way, everything passes quite quickly. We don't have days that are like we don't. Yeah, not even you can say not even 24 hours of a bad episode.
Oh, that's
It's
terrific.
not just it's all in the attitude,
Yes.
and people think it's the things outside that helps. Yeah, they might help sometimes, but the most important thing always is the attitude.
For sure. And I going through your your website and all the stuff on there, you really you talk about having a meaningful life.
Yes. You, for starters, you see all the things on the website. It's just a little bit of what we try. We try to do so much things. We try to do anything we can, and most things don't work out. There's only few things work out, but that's the idea is to keep trying, to keep moving forward, and giving your life purpose. Trying to, and we found purpose in helping other people's
Right.
other people, and by that's your life. You enrich in your own life, and then your life becomes a meaningful life by helping other people.
Right. Right. Now, do you ever get neuro fatigue, Kati?
Um, Not so often, but you do get sometimes.
Yeah.
Not so very often, but it does get sometimes. Kati's biggest problem actually is the muscles, the spasms, and the muscle fatigue. That is
Right. Any seizures that come along? Because I know I have those quite a bit.
no. After the stroke, after the locked-in, Kati has been quite healthy person after that. So that is a one good side of Kati in Kati's situation. I lucky, TH that IDO don't, HF any TSPAI pain. Yeah, Kati says she's lucky that she doesn't have any pain or seizures or anything like that.
Oh, I'm happy for you on that because they're not fun. Seizures are not
I can
fun.
imagine.
Yeah,
A cramp can feel bad enough already. Can you imagine a seizure?
yeah, I can't. I mean, I have those. I take a lot of meds, and I'm not sure if that. Do you take those as well? Any kind of meds to control that?
No, Kati doesn't take any meds. We just try to live as healthy as possible, though.
Right, right.
Yes, trying to keep a good balance. Not that we never do anything, take nothing of the delicious stuff, but try to keep a good balance.
Right. And besides speech therapy, or is there other, because I saw some pool therapy that you were doing. I don't know how long that ago was, but wow, that was beautiful. The pool therapy that you did.
Yes, I-A-F-T-S-T still do S-W. Kati still swims every week.
No,
It's the only moving therapy that Kati can do, because she cannot move her legs normally, but it's more like what she can do is like throwing little kicks.
yeah,
And then in pool with the therapist holding her, she can use her throwing the kicks. It's like pedaling, like moving your legs and swim by herself. So that's the only moving therapy she can do. The only way that she can burn some calories, and she loves it also.
oh,
Yes, because of this. Because yes, when you move, how you feel better, and yes.
wow, wow. And you have caregivers, I understand.
Yes, we have TH3, yes, because we have three during the day when I'm at work. They are, and of course, one cannot do the whole job, so we do have three. Luckily, here in Finland, where we live, the social system takes care of that, the social care system, and gives Kati all the help that she needs with that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What a great story. And so, how's it been with this with COVID? Has that been a little more difficult, like traveling? Because didn't you travel around the world? I'm sure as a supermodel.
Yes.
I'm sure you've been everywhere.
Yeah, in a way, yes. It is, because we normally like winters. We spend the winters in Spain because the cold, especially hard on Kati. And
Yeah.
here in Finland, you can imagine how cold it gets in winter. So we would spend winters in Spain, but we couldn't do this the last years because of COVID. But in another way, when you hear people complain and they think, oh, but that's kind of like our normal life,
Yeah.
for Kati. If not in Spain, the winters would be like in a lockdown for Kati, in a lockdown
Right.
inside the house. And we have long winters here, so it can be even up to 5 months of having lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know with stroke survivors, the cold really affects
Yeah.
it really bad.
Yes.
With a lot of people that have usually one side is affected, and that's not a good outcome for
No.
with a lot of stroke survivors.
Yeah.
So wow. So I don't know if we talked about how you actually met, and I would encourage everybody to go see the video. Well, your videos are just so inspiring, and especially the one with you getting married, going down the aisle, and I mean, you hugging everybody. I was a wreck. It was just beautiful, absolutely a beautiful wedding. Wow, I wish I could have been there.
Jerry, talking about that, about the wedding, I think the best part for me of the wedding, or one of the best parts, it's the way what started all this adventure of us of sharing our lives and their blogs and the videos and all. Before that, people would say to us, you have to inspire and tell your story because it would inspire a lot of people, but I didn't make much of it. And it is us at the wedding when I was taking the Kati to the altar, and I looked in front of me and I saw the priest taking off his glasses to wipe away a tear off his eyes. And at that moment, I thought, oh, really? This really does affect people, that this can help people. And that's how the whole stories and the whole part of the writing the blogs, the articles, and the making the videos and the TED talk and everything else started.
Right.
Before that, we were just minding our own thing, living our own life.
Right.
But going back to how we met, it was just by chance on the internet. Really coincidence. Small thing of me seeing Kati. Kati had a picture set on the website saying she was in Aruba, or yeah, it said Aruba there, and I thought this lady is not from Aruba, so I just wrote her something. And there was a song that my web page, she liked it. She asked me about that song, and we started talking, and we became friends, and we started chatting every day. After work, I would come home, and then we would chat for hours and so on. And yeah, and so the relationship grew. It started with no intentions of getting so far. It was just started as a simple friendship on the internet.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was 12 years ago. Yes, 12 years ago.
Wow. And you were living somewhere else, weren't you, Henning?
I was living in Holland. I'm Dutch. I'm born in the Caribbean in Curacao, which is part of the Dutch kingdom.
Right.
And I was living in Holland at the time, and Kati was in Finland. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great story. I know Holland. I haven't been there, but I know that I work for a company called Rabobank, and they're out there.
Yes, yeah, Rabobank, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So besides communicating, is there any other watching Kati, the attitude, the positive mental attitude that she has, and both you together make a beautiful couple. It's just, I'm seeing some of these comments coming up here, and it's very enjoying to see how you both talk to each other, and you don't need the board anymore.
No, it took me like 3 days to learn the board with the position of the letters. I just kept a little paper with the positions of the letter in my wallet, so where I got stuck, I can look at. But it took me about 3 days. But of course, we knew each other for more than a year then. Yes, so we knew each other quite well, and there was always a spark there. There was always something between us.
Right.
Like,
wow. So, did we talk about what exactly? Now, you locked-in syndrome. Totally understand that, but I know that the intellect is not destroyed. I mean, the intellect is there. You can't communicate it up, but it's right. You can't. Yes. Understand.
Yes, Kati understand, and the feelings also. Kati feels everything even more than before.
Wow.
The sense of touch is even more sharper. The sense of hearing is also sharper. Yes. Yeah, and the intellect is intact. Yeah. Like I said, the craziness has nothing to do with. Yeah. And that's part of her charm. Let's be frank about it.
Oh my goodness! So wow. So what do you tell people that are going through that tough time, that difficult situation that they think is over? Their life's over.
Yes. BDO don't HLOVUS lose IHO don't lose hope. Never lose hope, because like Kati herself, the first 3 years, directly after the stroke, the only thing she wanted was just to die. She even asked her mother at a certain moment, "Can you just finish it off for me, because there's no reason to live like this." And it took 3 years for Kati to get from that point to becoming to wanting to live again, to really wanting to live and live her life and do something with her life. But it's about not giving hope, and again about the attitude. Just believe that something can be. And I think the greatest part is accepting the reality.
Yes.
people think that if they accept the reality, they're giving up, which is not true. When you accept the reality as it is, then you can make bigger changes. You can change everything in a better way, making a better life for yourself. But it starts too with acceptance.
Right. It's encouraging. I keep saying I don't want to be a broken record, but you're both a beautiful couple, and it's very inspiring to me, and I could see everybody else as well. So, what do you do now as far as your daily routine? Do you have a daily routine that you do?
SPC. Part of, because you have to understand that for Kati, only on the computer she can be herself. With everything else, anything else, she needs assistance, people to do something, to eat, to feed, to drink, to clothe, everything she needs help. But when she's on the computer, she's totally herself.
Right.
So that's very important in her life to get, at least when we're at home, get to the computer so she can start doing her things. And she does everything by herself. I mean, from we have a home. When I was coming to Finland, we bought a house here in Finland, and we had to remodel it because the wheelchair and this thing, and of course make it nice immediately, because you can imagine Kati, her house has to be nice too. So she did all that, remodeling everything by herself via the computer.
Wow.
Talking to everybody that needs to start telling them how she would like to have the things and everything. So the computer is even more essential to Kati than to all of us, because that's where she can be herself.
Yeah, and it is amazing because Kati, you and I have been messaging back and forth, and with the computer, are you using your eyes with that as well? It's just amazing.
Mostly the one actually with the eyes, we use it when we travel. It's a small tablet. So at home, when we're at home, she uses the one with the gaze, the infrared camera. But when we are traveling, when we are abroad, she is using the one with the eyes.
Wow, that's remarkable. That's just, I'm proud of you. I wish I knew that, how to do all that, but I guess within time, you just, I mean,
yes, with the time, yes, and the situation also, yes. And when you want to do something, you learn how to do it. You figure it out.
Right, right. Wow. So you have one after you say, your first thing was, the first goal was to survive and then empower others to thrive against all odds. I read that.
Yes. It was, Kati wrote her first book, just didn't finish. It was in 2006 it came out, yeah? In 2006. And part of the book is what led, the story that followed the book coming out is what led to us meeting each other, without going too much in the details. Yeah. But like I was saying, Kati is a little bit known here in Finland. She's like a celebrity here in Finland. So when they heard that we were going to get married, it was announced, and some people in the media got to hear about it. They were asking us for interviews, and all the reporters, the journalists would say the same thing: you have to share your story and these things. And before that, we were just two people in love and just thinking about our life, making our life together. And then when we got that these people were saying, like I told you, the priest and these things, that we started doing this, our life reached a new dimension. It gives us purpose. It gives it even, not just to live for ourselves. It gives us, both of us. Kati maybe a little bit more, because Kati deals with it more. Yeah, I'm at work sometimes, I don't, but Kati is like on the computer always with this. It enriches your life, and it enriches the lives of others.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Carolyn, I don't know if you can see that, she's asking a question. Was Kati able to get psychotherapy? I know it's often hard to access for people with communication disorders.
In the beginning, I know so much of the answer, but Kati wants to answer. So B, B, G, C, O, U, R, P, couple of times. B, but T, H, E, Y, S, Z, I, D, don't, and meet. Yes, Kati did get some therapies. I know all this, the answers by heart, but because of answering them so many times. But when Kati wants to answer, I let her answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kati says she did get a couple of times, but then the physio and the was a psychiatrist, psychologist, told her that she doesn't really need it because she
Really?
has such a great attitude, so she doesn't really need it. So she did get for a couple of sessions, but not much.
Wow. So when in the beginning, when you first get therapy, do they, because 10 years, I had my stroke 10 years ago, and they told me 9 years ago that I had plateaued. I would never see any improvements, which is so false. So I don't know if you've been told that or you felt that was you were plateaued, because you're
Yes,
saying that
also.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the plateau was also not just for Kati, not just like this, that to the family also that Kati may live up to 10 years maximum because that's what they expected. And now, how many years? 26 going? Yeah.
Wow.
10 years maximum in an institute, and she wouldn't do anything anymore in her life, and she wouldn't get any better. Now, physically, she did get some little changes, some little things, but in her other part of her life, she has done so much more that anybody could think of.
Wow. The determination is just remarkable, and the positive attitude. I mean, I can see this. Absolutely. So, wow. So, is there anything else, Kathy, do you want to say?
Just to answer Caroline Horn, she said that she wanted to die for 3 years. Yes, yes. I don't know. I trust the professionals; they know better. I don't know, but it had also much to do with Kati's parents' attitude also, because after the stroke, the doctor said that the parents also just bring Kati to the institution and that's it. And their parents, her parents, decided no, we take her home. And can you imagine? It's a grown-up person, but he's living at home with you like a recently born baby.
Yeah, yeah.
And they take her home, and they did really everything, not only physically, but to get away, move forward. And I think that's part of the physiotherapy and these things also. It's you may think that you go there and they say, oh, you don't want to die, then you're okay, or you want to die. Maybe you wanting to die at that moment is a normal thing. You cannot expect anything else.
Right, right. I understand.
At least she's not in denial, and maybe that's the part. She's not in denial. The situation is bad, but then you have a good attitude. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. Not to change the subject, but maybe we could talk about your the book that you wrote. And how many books have you written?
Actually, two, but one was just in Finnish. That was published 2006, yes. And 2 years ago, Kati wrote her autobiography in English, Living Underwater, which you can find on Amazon. But Kati has been featured in many books, and is going to be featured in a couple of other books. One of them, like Superhuman by Rowan Hooper of UK. She has been featured in that book and in a couple other books here in Finland also.
Right. Yeah. And I ordered the book yesterday. I thought it'd be here really early. Because I going through it and looking at some of the captions, Living Underwater. Like, such a great name of a book.
Yeah, it was actually. It says this and it tells this in the book. Living Underwater is of a story that I heard when I was a child, actually, watching a Japanese cartoon, an anime cartoon. And it just stuck with me, this story. And then when I met Kati, I really understood the story.
Yeah.
It is a story about an island that they hear there's a tsunami or a flood coming, and they will be completely covered underwater. So they wanted to know how they can survive this. So they asked the professors in the city, what can we do? And they say, build a wall around the city and hope that the floods, it can contain the water out and we can be safe. They were not satisfied with that answer, so they went to ask the elders. And the elders said, build a big monument to the Lord and pray to the Lord to save us.
Right.
They were not completely satisfied with this neither. So they knew about an elder living in the mountains, really old man, really wise man. So they decided they go to him and ask him what to do. And they went there and they asked him, and the old man just sat quiet for a while, just saying nothing. They're waiting, and he just didn't say anything. Then suddenly he said, learn to live underwater.
Yes.
Some situations you cannot change it, you cannot get it. Yeah, you can get over it. So you just have to learn to live with what life has given you, and that's living underwater.
Wow. I can't wait to get it, to read it. Looks like a beautiful book, and I keep going back to the website that's posted here. I hope a lot of people look at that, because there's a wealth of information in there, and I like that. I watched it. Is it the TED Talk?
Yes.
That was inspiring.
Yeah, that was an opportunity that we got to do the TED Talk, and then we have to fit it in. Imagine if, and we tell what are we gonna do now? So yeah, but we figured it out to make an imagine if you had a stroke and you're completely paralyzed. What would help you get through it, and what would
Not sure there. But yeah, so but I really appreciate you guys to be willing to come on and share your story. I know there's so much more to the story, but if anybody can get on your website and go through it and buy the book is awesome. And I'm trying to look here. Some of these comments here, I wish I could bring them all up, but I can't. But
Yvonne said the whole island was going underwater.
Yeah.
Why not join them on the mountain?
Yeah, exactly. So is there any last things that we forgot to talk? Because I know there's so many people out there that in the beginning
I don't know. I don't really know, but I think most of all here in Finland they have something called Sisu, and it's how they survived winter before. And I don't know, you know the story of Finland. They survived a winter war against Russia. Russia tried to invade Finland in the time of the Second World War.
Right.
And this little country of Finland beat the Russians and kept the Russians out.
Wow.
So, and they have something called Sisu, and Sisu, there's not a definition of it in another language, but it comes things close to resilience, to grit, and these things. And so, having that resilience, that grit, and that attitude, that no matter how bad things are, you still keep moving forward. That's just it's more than hope. It's just it's true faith.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to have that in your life, even if tomorrow is your last day. I mean, yeah, what is life without faith? True faith.
Yes, exactly. Well, you're an amazing couple, and I'm looking at all this, and Salute says Sisu. She obviously knew that. You probably saw that.
Yes, I see it there. It's a story that it's a lot. It starts with the determination and the attitude and domination, resilience, not only from Kati but from her parents, and at the end it turns on to a love story with a happy ending. Yes.
Yes. Well, I appreciate it. You guys are tremendous, and
thank you for having us, Jerry.
Oh, absolutely. But I would love to have you back on. I think you two really are amazing and so lovable. And of course, Kati is so beautiful, and love to hear how it keeps going on your modeling and when you're going to be able to travel. I'm in here in Austin, Texas. I have an extra room, so.
And
And,
I said, one of those things that we want to do is take a road trip through the U.S. So
oh,
land
really?
on the East Coast, drive to the West Coast, and then drive back to like land in New York, and then drive through to the West Coast around California, then drive back to the East Coast to Florida. That's one of the dreams, and maybe after COVID, we can make it come true.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Don't come this time of the year because it's tornado.
No, no, no. If we do it, we'll be escaping the winter in Finland. So,
Good idea. Well,
yeah.
you're always welcome to stop by this part of
Thank
the
you so
world
much.
here. But
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. You guys are tremendous, and I just don't know what to say. Is there last words for you, Kati?
Yeah.
Any last words?
STAWY. Stay. IHABRTSP. Happy. Stay happy. Kati says to everybody, stay happy no matter what. Stay happy.
Yes, exactly. Well, you guys take care, and we will see you next time. And I
Yes.
will be following you throughout your journey. And
Yeah. Thank you, Jerry. And thank you, everybody else out there. Thank you for all the best wishes. Thank you so very much.